Hello, folks. Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Policy Genius, who wants you to know that while you're layering on the SPF in this summer's heat, don't forget to protect your property, too. Policy Genius can help you find ways to bundle your home and auto insurance and save on coverage. Policy Genius makes it easy to compare home and auto insurance all in one place. They can help you find home and auto coverage similar to what you have now, but at a lower price. They've saved customers an average of $1,250 per year over what they were paying for home and auto insurance before. The team will handle all the paperwork to set up your new policy or switch you over from your current one. All you have to do is head over to policygenius.com and answer a few quick questions about yourself and your property. Then Policy Genius just takes it from there. They compare rates from America's top insurers, from Progressive to Allstate, to find your lowest quotes. The Policy Genius team can look for ways to save you more, including bundling your home and auto policies. And if they find a better rate than what you're paying now, they will switch you over for free. Their top-notch service has earned Policy Genius thousands of five-star reviews across Trustpilot and Google. So head over to policygenius.com and get started right now, because when it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right. We're also brought to you by Decked. Do you know what Decked is? Well, you're about to. And if you own a truck, you're going to know what it's like to have stuff rattling around in the cab or under the seat, and how annoying it can be to keep it organized. I hate things rattling around in my car. I hate things in my bins. I go over bumps, I hear them, and it just drives me insane. And when we were carrying camera cases around in my Ford Raptor, all those cases and all that equipment unsecured in the bed, exposed to the elements, exposed to potential theft. That's why I really think that if you carry stuff in your truck, you should think about the Decked drawer system. Decked makes organizing so much easier, accessing everything, protecting everything, and securing everything just super easy. Basically, they put this insert into your bed, and they have two full bed length drawers that can carry up to 200 pounds each of whatever you've got. They roll out waist high, giving you easy access to your organized tools, your gear. If you're using a truck as a camera vehicle like we were, or a construction vehicle, electrical vehicle, a pool equipment, whatever, it's got a 2,000 pound payload capacity load floor, and the drawers slide in underneath that load floor. Plus, they're weatherproof, protecting your stuff from the elements and theft. The Decked drawer system keeps your gear secure. It's out of sight and it's out of mind. If your tailgate is locked, you can't open the drawers and you can't remove the system. Drawer locks are available for added security and peace of mind if you need to go even further. Decked offers a full line of segmented storage or organizational accessories like toolboxes, bags, cargo tie-downs, and other items for maximum efficiency of space and your time. The Decked drawer system is 100% made in the USA and backed by a 3-year no-hassle warranty with second-to-none customer service team ready to answer all of your questions. Get the Decked drawer system at decked.com/smokingtire and get free shipping. That's decked.com/smokingtire for free shipping on your Decked drawer system. That's decked, decked.com/smokingtire. And of course, JB Weld, they're here all year. I think it's all year. JB Weld is the world's strongest bond. If you've worked on cars, if you've worked around your house, if you've worked on porcelain or wood, plastics, plumbing, you know what JB Weld is already. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you. Whether it's DIY projects, automotive repairs, plumbing, marine, or more, JB Weld is the world's strongest bond. In fact, JB Weld products can be used on practically anything, from metal or to wood to plastics, glass, ceramics, and more. Just keep a tube in the toolbox, keep a tool in the kitchen drawer, keep one in the car or the truck. And speaking of trucks, JB Weld acquired Herculiner, which is the original DIY truck bed liner. So if you're looking for the world's strongest truck bed liner, look no further. Herculiner has you covered there as well. I know that stuff is rough and tough because I rolled a bunch of it on my floor here at the shop. I made a rug out of it. And I don't have a truck at the moment, but I do have a floor, and I did need a rug, and I made one, and it was great. Herculiner rules. So go be your strongest self. Use JB Weld, the world's strongest bond. Use Herculiner, the original DIY truck bed liner. It is available at jbweld.com, Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, Napa, O'Reilly, Michaels, and more. JB Weld epoxy products are proudly made in the USA. Yeah, JB Weld, we love them. And of course, Tradecraft Farms is and is always in the house with the most delightful and scrumptious THC and CBD products available legally in the state of California. If you happen to be coming through town, cruise by one of their retail locations, which you can get on their website. If you are not yet part of the legalized, civilized world, just give them a follow on Instagram, Tradecraft_Farms. They are good folks. We really appreciate them sponsoring our show, and their products are just delightful. Use them daily. And this week on the show, Betim Berisha is in the house. He is an owner and co-founder of BBI Autosport. Just returned from Pikes Peak, where he has 3 podium finishes, including a first place, in 3 separate classes, which possibly is some kind of a record, which is amazing. That's an unbelievable accomplishment. We talk about Porsche street cars. We talk about race cars, the mountain, the whole deal. He's an old friend, so it's very good. Betim Berisha of BBI Autosport on the Smoking Tire Podcast. This is Betim.
Hello.
It's like Tim with B in front of it.
Yep.
Betim.
Betim.
What the fuck is up?
You know, first,
welcome.
I'm sorry I came empty-handed. We're making more. I'll
no,
take
no,
care
it's
of you
okay.
guys. Yeah,
it's okay.
No,
you don't need to kiss the rings, but like I just like that shirt, and I feel like the last time you got me a shirt, I wore it a lot because you care that your shirts are like nice shirts. They're not shitty shirts.
Right.
And that's how you get us to wear the shirt.
I love it.
You got to make the shirt like a shirt that you want to wear.
Yeah, I can't be wearing like a paper bag.
You, like I, have shirts that mean things that we have no fucking clue what they mean.
Right.
It could be some fucking, like, I don't know, some like white nationalist shit for all I know, but I'm like, oh, is this American Apparel?
It's comfortable. I like it. I got good flexibility.
Oh my God, it's Lululemon?
Yeah.
Fuck, they spent money on this.
It's like you're getting booed and eggs thrown at you on the street.
What is that? Yeah, you guys know how to do merch. Your merch has always been solid as fuck.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We don't do enough of it, which we need to step our game up there, but
I mean, you guys, you make and sell real things. Who gives a shit
like
about
car
your
parts.
fucking merch?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, should I put resources into this T-shirt logo or this $35,000 3D printed titanium exhaust?
Right. and then you do start looking at, oh, let's do that shirt, and then all of a sudden it takes up like 4 people's like 6 days.
Yeah,
and like
the titanium fabricator's like staring at the color, going, I don't know, I think maybe a little more dab of orange.
Yeah. Can we get some sparkle in there?
And that's how builds take 18 months.
Bingo.
Yeah, building
This
t-shirts
is
instead.
the problem. Yeah.
That is kind of, I mean, that's always a problem with builds. Like, just they end up with whether you're building a fucking car, a house, or whatever the fuck it is. Why is like, there's never 100% knowns.
No, ever. And so we've been doing this for 13 years now.
Yeah.
And no matter what, every single time, it just tends to happen.
Always something new.
Always something.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I gotta make one of those. Well, the machine doesn't exist to make one of those. Okay. All right, let's make the machine. All right, we need to make our own screws too. I mean, that's how Pikes Peak felt like this year.
Really?
I was like at night, we were all working on the cars. And I'm like, I just want to not have to modify a bolt to go into something. I just want to take the bolt from the thing and put it in the thing. Instead, you're
At
on
a
a
base level, can we just get standard bolts? Like something. Not even standard, existing bolts.
Is it because you were fitting such specialized parts?
I think that's what the focus got narrowed, and then when you design all of the stuff, we had a short amount of time to do a lot of work, and it just feels like we always get in that position, and then.
You weren't making bolts on the mountain, were you?
Oh, we were. It was
whittling them out of the trees.
we were breaking parts testing at the local track in Colorado, and then you come back, you're like, oh, well, I need to figure out how am I going to attach that piece to the carbon here that's solid here, but it's hollow in this side, so I needed. It was just that the whole. Yeah, it was a lot.
Because if you drilled the wrong place in the carbon, you crack the whole thing, right? The splitter's done.
Yeah, so there's certain places that you can drill that are either there's an aluminum puck in there inlaid, or it's solid carbon, and you have to, we learned a lot.
Because you want it to be as thin as possible where it can be.
Yeah, but you also want to be able to jump on the splitter.
It needs to be super. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
fun dance.
Yeah, we ripped 2 splitters off within like 10 minutes of each other, testing both cars. Like, oh, we need to make those stronger.
So the 2 cars. To give me car A and car B here.
So we did 3 cars this year. But
because you did Tanner's car too, right?
Yeah, we did Tanner's Cayman. So that was the trophy Yokohama trophy class from
which is basically a spec class, right?
Yeah.
Cayman GT4 Club Sports.
Yes, exactly. Cayman GT4 Club Sports, I think, is an awesome class because you can't do much to them, right? So it's driver and setup.
They're so fun too.
You just he looked like he had more fun than anybody.
He probably did.
And then everybody chasing him also in that class. If I were to ever go drive Pikes Peak, I would for sure sign up for that first because then you got Jeff Zwart walking you through the whole thing, taking you up the mountain 3 times a day, talking about every single corner, every shift point, every brake point, all the nuances of the mountain. And it's
is that like I mean, to use the word gentleman driver, I think is taken by some people as a derogatory term, but is it like a
arrive and drive kind of?
Yeah, arrive and drive program?
Yeah, pretty much. You have to have your team, right?
Right.
And somebody has to schlep the car up and down the hill every day. Outside of that, keep gas in it, keep the tires on it. The cars are so dead reliable. You're just chasing time and you as the driver.
But if you run that class, you get a Zwart. Also,
yeah,
it's not really like arrive and drive. You prep your own car, you show up with your own team, and you're responsible for your own car.
Correct.
Porsche doesn't do any of that shit.
No, but Porsche does essentially set the curriculum, right? They set the cadence of the entire week. They give you Jeff Zwart as the coach,
which is the G-est shit ever.
Oh yeah, he's like a mountain goat. He knows everything about that place. Yeah, I mean. Everything about that place.
He will take you to the top and then he unload a canoe and go, okay, guys, now we're going to find a lake.
Yeah.
It's like not even, and you're like, I thought we were racing. He's like, after we
this
canoe.
Is part of racing.
Yeah, exactly. If you learn to paddle.
This is how I get your mind right.
Yeah, This is his like Karate Kid shit.
Exactly.
His Karate Kid shit is like, all right, we're all going to drive tractors up a frozen road and canoe to an ice lake.
And tomorrow we're doing underwater basket weaving. So get it together, guys. No, but in all seriousness,
you walk the dog.
Yeah, exactly. Or the 3 dogs. But in all seriousness, he really tees it up to be a. So I can imagine going there and see like the vastness. You on camera, none of the pictures do it justice.
They don't.
They don't. You don't get tired on the camera. You know what I mean? So. Going there would be quite overwhelming to like, not only I'm trying to get a setup right on the car, I'm trying to learn where I'm going, I'm trying not to go crashing off of every other corner that looks the same as the other one that opened up and this one tightened up, so he's walking you through all of that stuff. So it looks like he's segmenting the entire experience so you're not overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And which I think would be, if you are going to go race at Pikes Peak, and that's a bucket list thing, you got to do that.
Yeah. And what else does Porsche throw in as part of that curriculum? Anything besides that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you know what it costs to enter that class?
That class, I believe, has a $2,500 entry fee. That then you can do the optional tire testing the month prior. And then I don't know too many of the details outside of that. But
you have to buy a car.
Right. You buy a car, you can rent one. I do know that, in all honesty, that we went through like 2 sets of tires. We could have done it on one, because those tires, the Yokohamas, were super consistent.
Yeah. The odds of breaking the car are pretty small.
Yeah. So exactly, you got to keep. If you keep that car on the track, you're going to do well.
Yeah.
And then, but they're all having a lot of fun together too. They're all pitted together. They're all bouncing ideas off of each other. So I was just kind of a fly on the wall because I actually. I would love to do that, but I don't. It's not. I rather focus on the cars.
Yeah.
But at some point,
well, it seems like it would be a fun equalizer, right?
Yep.
So you'd have your own sub experience,
right?
And also, that car is incredibly manageable at sea level.
Yes.
You run it up at that kind of altitude, it probably feels like racing a Miata or something.
Right.
You're down fucking probably 200 horsepower.
Yeah. So you're all about carrying, keeping the mid corner speeds up. And
are all those cars PDK?
Yeah.
They're all PDK.
Yeah. Correct.
All right, so that's good. So in the PDK cars, at least you're a lot more comfortable going to first gear.
Right.
If it was a 6-speed car with that long ass gearing, and you keep going to first gear, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
At least PDK is like just a paddle tug.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got 13 hairpin corners or first gear hairpin corners, so that would, you're right, clicking down.
It would come into play.
Yeah,
it would definitely come into play.
Yeah.
It looks so fun. All right, so
that
that's
was
the
Tanner.
Cayman GT4 Club Sport.
Yep.
And Tanner, ultimately he won the class? Did he
won the class.
Yeah,
yeah. And so backing up, this was the first year I've ever done it where they shortened the race because
because of weather.
We got
right?
snow and ice the night before. And they knocked like 4 or 5 miles off, or about 4 miles off of it.
Yeah, the times are like in the 6s, right?
Right. So we raced up to Devil's Playground, which
I mean, how fucking? I guess you guys do you do sector times or something? So could you extrapolate some kind of equivalent?
Yeah, kind of. Weather wasn't on our side on the GT cars, so.
Well, the photos sure look good though.
You see the color? Now you get it.
That's a very pretty car.
Yeah.
We'll get to the details of that in a second, but go ahead. Just the race distance.
So the race, when they shortened it up, race day, it looked like the weather was holding off. They delayed it for 2 more hours, trying to see if the sun would melt the ice up top. But like in 2020, they're chipping ice, and they actually ran all the way up. So then this year, we didn't get that opportunity. We missed the window. It started to get a little colder, so we're like, all right. They called it. They said shorten the race up. I was fine with it too. Maybe as long as all of us are doing that, it seems to be okay.
Well, yeah. It's not like whoever brought snow tires, you line up to the left.
Yeah.
Or like if they shorten it in the middle of the race or something, that would be terrible.
Which has happened.
Yeah.
It's happened in the past too. Jeff was telling us like back in the 90s, you'd get all kinds of weird stuff. But
so you'd have to shorten it mid-race because of weather, and they'd have to measure people's sector times to win?
I think they just kind of throw it out, and then you're showing up and you're running.
Man, it's the fucking mountain.
That's it.
What are you gonna do? It's the mountain, right?
That's part of the draw for that place to me.
Yeah.
Or that's why I like it so much is that you don't know what you're gonna get thrown at you. You just know that something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so and we left in the time attack, in the open class car.
So the other 2 cars, one open class and one is time attack.
one.
So what is the difference in those 2 classes?
So time attack 1 is a class that they tighten the rules up. So we raced time attack 1 in Lucy back in 2019 when we got the record. After that year, they changed the rules where you couldn't take a non-turbo car and turbo it. You couldn't take a 2-wheel drive car and make it 4-wheel drive in time attack 1. But back in the day, you could. I mean,
you do anything
you
you
Reese
want.
Middleton's throwing a huge Garrett on a Hyundai. It's a sequential gearbox and the engine's way back. So they changed that. So that pushed that car into open. But
Open is whatever you want, right?
Open is pretty much a closed cockpit sedan style car that's like time attack 1, but you have freedom of aspiration, fuels, drive tires. You can have 1-wheel drive, 6, whatever you want. So it was an easy transition to just take and convert our 2019 car, build it up a little bit for open.
Right.
And then time attack 1, it was just too convenient that Porsche came out with the 935 and the GT2 RS Club Sport that just so happens to fit in that time attack 1 class perfectly after they changed the rules. So it worked great. So then we took the 2RS Club Sport and put that in TA1, which I really like that class because it is kind of a direct reflection of what we do for a living. We modify street cars and race cars. So
how far do you get with a Club Sport? A lot. You get pretty far, right? GT2 RS Club Sport?
Nah, I mean, kind of. Yeah, you have to tweak it for the mountain.
Right, obviously. But you get a lot of car.
You get a lot of car.
You guys managed one of those last year for Donahue, right?
Correct. Which is the car on the left.
Okay.
So yeah, we learned a lot about that car then, and then we ended up modifying and kind of getting the aerodynamics and the platform identical on both cars within the rules. Like one has a little less, but no, it's a capable car. I mean, it's a serious car, but it's so much more tame because Porsche built it, right? It's got the PDK instead of a sequential. It's
for like average rich guy, not like David Donahue.
Right. It has a Alcantara dash, so it is, and
compared to a 935, it's tame.
Yeah, both the cars look almost identical, have the same bodywork, same everything, but the Optima car, Lucy, is like 280 pounds lighter.
Oh.
Because of the sequential gearbox, and we just gutted all the stuff out of it,
The other car has run full interior. Sorry.
No, it doesn't
the
have
RS
full
has
interior.
like a nice interior, though. I remember
the Club
looking
Sport.
at it. Yeah,
it's great. It's like a really nice finished cup car, right?
Yeah.
Where the other car was just a seat, and a wheel. But No, it was cool to play with both cars and kind of modify them. So
what is the difference in performance from one car to two in the overall times? Or in your abbreviated times?
Well, we weren't able to really compare apples to apples. So open class car with Raphael in it, he ended up starting the race it was dry, right, for the first 2 sectors. He was hauling ass. And then the third sector, he got into mist and fog and all that stuff. So third sector got thrown away. He still got first in class, which was good. And then TA
even with a shitty third sector because you couldn't see anything.
And then TA1, which was highly competitive. I don't know. Have you see Reese Millen's Bentley?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was what we were racing against. So basically, like,
get a picture of that. That thing was fucking so sick,
insane, and you should hear the thing. You're like, what is this thing?
What engine is it?
Something out of a Top Fuel car. I don't know. Just like some. It's about as serious of a effort as you can do. You know.
It is. It's that right. Yeah, that thing. It is crazy looking.
And how it looks. Weighs. It weighs 3,228 pounds with the driver in it.
Really?
Yeah, because when we went across tech, I was like,
3,228 with driver?
With Reese in it.
Wow. There's no Bentley there.
No, the car is bigger than this room. I mean, it's huge, and I could not believe how light it was.
That's fucking
so
cool.
whatever it looks
That's so crazy.
Whatever it looks like there, it sounds even crazier.
I wonder, it's got to be the V8.
It is. It's a V8. It's a biturbo.
Audi.
Yeah, it's like a biturbo V8 making well over 1,000 horse.
Yeah, it's a cranked up 4-liter V8, right?
But you've been to like an ALMS race and you heard the Corvettes.
Yeah.
You know how you feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
It's like that plus some.
Whoa.
Yo, you know what, guy? There's a guy who lives in my neighborhood who's got one of your fucking like super exhausts on it.
Oh no.
And we were my wife and I were at outdoor dining the other day, and this dude just fucking nails it, just hits it real hard, and it made that pierce sound that you get when you're on the sidelines at Daytona.
Right.
And my wife just went and held her ears, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna remember to tell him that you did that exact thing.
Sorry.
The Porsche pierce.
Yeah.
That like hits you.
It almost feels like it's tearing metal. Like
yeah.
It
It reaches into like behind your brain.
Yeah, rattles all your fillings. And
it hurts. I mean, it's such a great engine, but when on the outside, it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
You don't get it in the car.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. It is too much. Yeah.
That Bentley seems
so we were up against that car.
Much aero.
That guy was throwing down. So they had a problem on Sector 3, but he was throwing down times that made it look like we showed up with a Yugo.
Really?
I'm not kidding. We had nothing for that car at all. And that is that effort right there is completely making me rethink our approach because next year we're going to come back because it's the 100-year anniversary. But
wow.
I mean, I can see a lot. I mean, when you look. The engine sits very far back in that car anyway.
Right.
But like that whole hood is like a downforce.
The whole car is like everything flows either through it or everything just flows through the car and perfectly. You know, like you could see the vent behind the rear fender or the front fender there.
Yep.
You could see the rockers all windowed out, completely flat floor. The splitter is bigger than this table.
Is it a tube frame car? Or do they start with a street car?
There's probably a floor pan in there somewhere.
You think they started with a street car?
I don't know, but it's the FIA GT3 car. It's the factory Bentley race car.
So they started with that.
And then they went bananas on it.
Yeah.
Because just look at the difference. Like your cars have big front splitter and canards on the side, but his car, like the fender, has a whole wing that just connects. The whole thing's a rectangle.
I think the headlights painted on.
No, because you have to have headlights.
Oh, you do have to have it? Okay.
So it's got to be something in there.
Okay.
But I mean, to have that car, when you see, I've got pictures on my phone of it, a tech behind the 911. The 911's like, hi,
look at the front, look at this shit.
No, and the 911 is like about 3/4 of that width. You cannot reach across the front.
I mean, this looks 8 inches wider than a standard Bentley Continental, like just in front aero.
Right.
Wow.
It's
the
about
wings. It looks like they flipped them like playing cards and they stuck in the front end like a watermelon.
Yeah. No, that was impressive to watch. Their whole crew was awesome.
Oh, look at Zach. Go to the above view, the bird's eye overhead view.
And watch the front end.
That's what it's really about. Because I want to see how wide this thing gets, dude. It's
wow.
It's so big. Like a Bentley GT is already such a wide car, and this thing has like a wide body kit on it, and then the wings are like
wider.
The front wing is as wide as the rear wing.
Yeah.
I've never seen that on a car before.
Yeah. And
oh my God.
Look at the ducting in the hood. I mean, everything just flows through the car. It's pretty, I mean, it's really well done.
That's
really,
super
really
cool.
Executed pretty awesome. I was impressed watching them, and the whole crew was awesome. You know, they're pretty forthcoming with information, and
because they're like, yeah, you don't have Volkswagen development money, so we can tell you these things.
So I called Tanner. He was up in Colorado.
The rear, that trunk treatment, with the fucking ducting from the sides and stuff that go out the trunk,
blows all the coolers to the back.
Crazy.
The intercoolers are in the back.
Yeah, the transmission's so in the rear also, so it's a transaxle back there with a torque tube like a vet. You know, it's about
because it's rear wheel drive. It's not front wheel. It's not 4-wheel drive anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
So they looked at all the rules and were like, "What is?"
Are you allowed to move the engine?
Yeah, in TA1 you have a window where you can.
Yeah.
But if the car came stock from Bentley with the engine in the dashboard, you have that.
It did almost pretty much.
Yeah, the FIA GT3 car, but yeah, it's
that's a crazy looking engine.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, I think they do it the other way around. In a street car, the engine it's a hot V turbo engine. Are the turbos on the side on this one?
The turbos are in the fender well, back right behind the front tire.
Right there.
Oh,
you can see the wastegate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are, right. Yeah. Wow. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, when the car comes at you, because I walk down just to watch it during practice, and it sounds like the world's ending. It's pretty impressive.
That's fucking awesome.
So the point of that whole dissertation is that I got to rethink what we do. Because if stuff like that keeps showing up, we little privateers are going to have a real hard time making Time Attack 1 interesting. You know, it's going to be a race for second and third place, you know, because I know
this is an official Bentley effort, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they had the whole shooting match there.
And you're not the official Porsche effort.
No.
That GT4 thing is the Porsche effort.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the hosting of people who have paid a little extra for a little extra.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is not a bad place to be for Porsche.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, who you gonna have to? So what does someone like yourself do in order to compete? Like, can you just find some billionaire that wants to go racing, or is that?
I don't even think that will get it done because you need a shoe in there. So the billionaire who wants to go racing needs to just hang out with us in pits and put somebody fast in the car, right? That's what we need to do. So we're already in talks about what we're doing next year because we have to have the plan in place by roughly before SEMA, and so we could start moving. We're going to take one of those two cars, whether it's open or TA1. We're going to modify them again heavily, you know, and then knock a bunch of weight out of them wherever we can, and then up the power. We got to do everything.
Just starting with a 992 generation car at this point make a difference?
Yeah, I'm working on that. And I just got told no by Porsche that there are no extra cups that we can convert to a turbo monster. But
that must be some question to ask.
I was just like, hey,
might I have?
Yeah, we'll get it. Like, just can you allocate one car to us? We have allocations for two cars, so we can race two in the Carrera Cup Challenge. But what if one of those accidentally becomes a Pikes Peak car?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I mean, the car is there. We just need more time to refine it, right? So we got them to this point. We didn't have much testing. We were kind of late to the show, so I think if we refine them, I think there's a lot of time left in them. So
does traditional track testing? Is that an appropriate substitute for this? If you can,
it exposes a lot of things that will happen to you on the mountain.
Sure.
Setup is not the same, but you can baseline a neutral chassis. So I drove Lucy, which is that car, on the track. Shook it down when we first showed up, and the car felt great. Right. I put 5 or 6 laps in on it. Really started kind of pushing it, and the car was actually quite easy to drive. We get to the mountain, and it's just an oversteer beast with a front end pin. So change dampers, change springs and all that, and get it set up for the mountain. But we were able to break enough stuff at the track that when we finally
the durability shit was okay.
Right, and I think, and then I don't know. I'm still wrapping my head around all of this. I mean, this was our 6th year there, right? And I'm learning so much every time I go.
What is it about? Do you think that you're driving at the track, feels good, et cetera, and then you get on a mountain on an uphill, or what do you think it is about the mountain that almost changes how the aero's behaving and how the car's behaving?
Yeah, good question. Surface conditions, right? Surface conditions and aero. Those are the two big ones, right? Then you have, just like, let's say you set your tire pressure, you have a wildly different pressure rate, rise rate over time on the mountain because you're not generating as much grip as you are on a track.
Right.
And for example, the reason why the rear of the car was hooked up, we had quite a bit of camber in the rear of the car, but when you're on the less grip or surface, like with less coefficient of friction, you're not able to lean on the entire tire to get the thing essentially like activating the whole contact patch. So then you have to...
Like you literally don't have enough grip to grip.
Right. Yeah, so it's almost like driving an aero car. You have to go fast enough to activate
the mechanical version of aero.
Yeah, so we just call it mechanical grip. So you have to stand it up. And then as you start to pick up pace and everything, then... everybody gets comfortable, then you start creeping back on camber because you're chasing.
After 6 years, don't you have kind of a model for the difference between that track test and the mountain? Or does the mountain change that much every year?
The surface of the mountain changes so much. Whether it's dusty, I mean, there were people from one weekend to the next, 4.5, 5 seconds off per sector, just because dust, right? So you're kind of chasing that. So you find the happy medium between all that stuff. And after going there that much, we've changed the car so radically every single time that you're kind of starting over with different aero balance, different mechanical grip, different power, how the power gets put down, your TC strategy, even gearing. You're always. So that's why I feel good this year. We're not going to go too wild with the cars. We're going to pick one. We're going to focus on it. We're going to test. We're going to beat the shit out of this thing, and then show up to the mountain more ready to go. So the drivers will have enough time in the cars to. Because ultimately, that's where you're going to pick the pace up, is the confidence in the driver.
Right.
So,
do you also, is it hard to test on a track actually because of how much more you have to slow the car down on the mountain too? Like you're never on a track braking to like 20.
Yeah. These guys are pretty impressive on the brakes. I mean, but you're right.
I just mean in terms of the setup. In terms of the setup, like your average speed is 25 or 30, maybe miles an hour higher on a fast racetrack than it is on the mountain.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely
you don't have
right.
so many hairpins.
Right. No. So. There's your average speed is just south of 80 miles an hour typically on the mountain, and then you could have 130 mile an hour averages at Pueblo or something like that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's just a lot there, but we don't. The setup never translates for us, at least. It's you get the mechanical balance, you get the aero balance, and you start breaking things. As soon as you start breaking things and uncovering your weaknesses there on the track, then you fix them, go back, try to do it again. Then you're prepped to go to show up to the show and start.
Yeah.
It's like you have a block of clay. You build the thing, then you take it to the track, and then suddenly it's a block of clay again, and you just keep doing that until you can finally go to the mountain, and then
you got something
everything out.
labeled
And
out.
now you still have to adjust sometimes so many things.
Right.
Wow. And you're doing a different car every year in a way. I mean, you're building on things you have.
Right.
But it's kind of like you have a new problem to solve because you're trying to advance the car so quickly.
Every time you do something, it exposes something else. And so you want more power, it exposes grip. You want this. You have to have brake. I learned a lot this year about just you can't just throw more at it. You have to creep up on it, and you have to be almost very precise with your movements. Plan every possible scenario, narrow that all down, and then move from there. You know, so it was, like I said, I've learned more this year than I have ever been there. So it's.
You guys did well this year, so it's like it's not like you had a year where everything lost everything, and that was the education. Like you did well, and yet there's still so many lessons, and there's still so much to apply next year.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, no, we did well. We're pretty fortunate. The team. I think I pushed the team so hard. It's pretty wild. Everybody had such a good attitude the whole time, but there was times where we didn't go to sleep. We'd work on the car, leave the shop at like 1:30 in the morning, go home, take a shower, and then just put your clothes on and get back in the.
Because you have to drive up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and then the next day did the same thing. We broke more stuff, and it was pretty brutal. So, but it was awesome. We learned a lot about each other. the crew is awesome. All of our partners, that everybody just stepped up. It was just like everybody was just building each other up. It was pretty cool.
Is it? I mean, who's funding this whole shit for you? Like, who sponsored? Is it Optima did that whole
So
deal?
We have a big group was Audrain Motorsport. You see them there on David Donahue's car.
Yeah.
They're awesome. I just got off the phone with them on a long conference call about more engagement for the rest of the year. Optima Batteries was on Turbo Cup, and then we have a slew of partners that all contributed, helped out, and they all made it happen. Including
It's like,
Yokohama.
how many people you send up there?
We had. I think we had like 23 people.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but there was a lot more of supporters and everything that came out, and all of our friends. But to make the whole thing go around, we had a big group of people.
That's crazy.
It's hard to manage. You got to feed them, right? You got to house them. So we rented a big spot from our friends there, and we had Henry the chef, the French chef. He was
sick.
He was awesome. Yeah. So he's a friend of everybody. He's a friend of like Raf's, and so he translated also because Raf's English is still and my French is horrible, but I'm learning. I could say a lot of stuff to embarrass him, but so we put a marketing deck in place. You see who wants to be on board. The PFC came back on board. JRZ with an electronic damper that's active. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, cool.
That's actually, I learned a lot about that, and it's changed.
Is that with sort of the same kind of technology that what's his name was using over on the East Coast there? The G4 space thing that makes your shocks active?
Yeah. That's a kind of an active set. That's a driver-induced active.
Yeah.
So meaning like it can handle that. This handles environmental changes at a very, very fast rate.
Which is more like how MagRide works or something, right? It's reacting to forces that it's feeling through sensors. And
correct.
Then, right?
Yeah. So we had 10 sensors on the car, 2 per corner, and then 2 inertial and G sensors inside, and then we had 2 more. Sander came out and brought. Just spaceship stuff, dude. He brought an INU and an IMU, which are highly accurate and extremely fast sampling GPS sensors that measure pitch, roll, everything. But they're basically used in guided missiles and autonomous vehicles. And so he brought those out and then laid out a TC strategy for the car, which was incredible to drive. It's absolutely seamless.
And that, that is localized or force induced TC. Like location based or.
No, it doesn't. It's not. We didn't do it per corner. Because typically when you do that, we did that at Long Beach Grand Prix when I worked at Porsche, because you would actually turn the TC off in certain corners.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, from here to here it's off, then back on, then but it's not that.
No, it's so much faster than that.
Oh, okay.
And it's you can hear it, but you cannot feel it. And it just keeps the slip line. You basically build it like a desired slip line, and it's pretty rad.
Wow.
We're gonna do a lot more with that stuff. When I saw that, I was like, okay, this is.
Is that the kind of thing? Can you just buy that shit?
Kind of, but you need like
you
the brain power that comes with it is insane.
But you need that because Bentley probably has that stuff. I mean, if you're running against people like that,
are you allowed to run like whatever happened to?
I don't think they need it. They
like
just had
aero motion,
brute force and ignorance.
That was what it was.
Remember like the aero motions wings? Do people run those still? Are you allowed to do that?
No,
moving wings.
No, but it makes sense.
I wonder why more people don't do that.
I don't know.
Then. It seems like if it worked.
You remember those aero motions? I think.
Yeah. They were sick.
You heard of Mark Forge? Those 3D printers? Like, no? Yeah. I think he went off and did that. And he's just like, these wings are cool, but I want to make a lot more money building 3D printers.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's the same group.
But Lee Keen used one in One Lap of America. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It worked.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely worked.
Yeah.
They still Mark Forged, industrial product.
Yeah.
There you go. He's probably right. I bet that guy makes more money now.
Yeah.
There's like 8 people in America that want a fucking Aero Motions wing.
Yeah, but everybody wants every industry wants a 3D printer.
For sure.
And then he's doing like filament infused, like carbon filament infused printers. And
crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
So what kind of power are those cars making? 1,000?
1,100 horsepower on on the open car, and then about 850 on the TA1 car.
Nice.
Yeah.
E85?
On open, and then typical we can't run E85 and TA1.
Oh, you have to run pump gas?
Yeah.
So you're 93?
No, C16.
Oh,
but,
you can run,
but you can't.
But it has to be gasoline.
Yeah.
And how? I bet. I mean, fucking that motor on C16 has got to be.
It's the jam.
Crazy.
That car right there. See, you could see the fog that he got into. This was on the third section. Look at the roads wet.
That's so sketchy.
So he was about 6 seconds off pace that we thought he would be at, 6 or 7 seconds.
I mean, even so, that's pretty.
He just came
good.
back. He's like this.
For people listening, this is like an uphill shot, and we can't see the next corner, and it doesn't look like it's that far away. You can barely see the outline.
Visibility is like 50 yards, maybe.
Yeah,
and that's probably a 600-foot drop right on the top of that radius.
Yeah,
right.
You know,
yeah, so. I would stop.
So you're gonna drop back a little bit, you know,
pull back a little bit.
Super sketchy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on our regular canyon roads that I know super well, and you hit some fog, and back the fuck off.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Super sketchy. How much? Like, because I've never been to the hill climb. I'd really like to go. One of these days, I will go.
Well, next year's the 100.
Oh, really?
So you.
Oh, well, that should be when I go.
Happen.
Yeah, we'll probably have to go for that.
Yeah.
Between you and Larry Chen, I think it's pretty much sold it.
Yeah.
But like, how much? I have driven up the road a couple times. Like, how much can a driver learn ahead of time by just driving up the road in a regular car at legal speeds?
If you've been in a car at speed, you'll learn a lot because you know how to apply that knowledge, right? Or that information you're getting, you'll understand how to apply that with the way the corners open up and everything. But if you're just taking a rental car up, you've been on a racetrack where you walk the track and you get in a car, you're like, it made no sense for me to even walk this thing.
Yes, but I've also driven the rental car on the racetrack, and that helped. If I've never been on a track before.
Yeah, but you're ripping a rental car on a track.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think walking. Like, when I drove up Pikes Peak in a rental van, if I had walked it, I would not have noticed the crazy amount of bumps there are toward the top section.
Right.
But even at 25 miles an hour, I couldn't believe how much pogoing was happening in the van. And then you guys are doing that at 100 and whatever miles per hour.
Yeah.
But walking, you would just slowly go up and down these things, and you might not see those crests.
But you would see them if you've driven at relative speed there.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what helped actually a couple of times? A track bike.
Yes.
Track bike is okay.
Yeah.
Because a track bike, you notice some nuance of ups and downs because, it's hard to pedal here.
Your eyes are up enough to look at
a
track
little,
out.
Yeah, track bike is good. Like, when people do One Lap of America, totally fucking underrated event, and they should do it. And you should put a bike rack on the roof of your car and bring 2 bicycles so you and your co-driver can do track bike and then just take that whole shit off when it's time to do your time attack.
I would love to do 1 lap. That looks amazing.
I'm shocked you haven't done it.
I know.
It's super fun.
We got to build a car and go do it.
It's hard, but it's fun.
You have like 9 cars that could run it that are so fast.
Yeah.
Just pull one out of the garage.
Yeah, you do. You have like leftover cars that would do pretty well at it.
Yeah, but they bring some serious hardware out too. You'd have to take it seriously.
Yeah, or you could be strategic and you could apply your genius to something for a different class.
Yeah, that might be
like
cool.
those Honda guys in Alabama dominate SUV truck with their crazy Odyssey because no one else turns the car into a full fucking race car.
That's awesome.
But like if you decided that you were going to take one of these Cayenne Turbo GTs that's coming out and do what you do, but still leave a fucking plate on the shit.
Yep.
You could destroy in the when I did the SUV class in 1 lap, I raced against a Chrysler factory effort.
Oh, really?
Team SRT, yeah. Factory drivers.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We had a great battle.
That's awesome.
It was so fun.
That's cool. All right, let's get
But you could take that to the next level.
Let's get a Turbo GT and go do it.
We could do it.
Yes.
Dollar car.
Bike racks.
You heard us. I know they're out there, Porsche people. You heard us.
I know you guys are listening.
Those sucker bike
seersuckers.
racks. Seersucker bike racks, dude. Carbon Porsche designed bicycles.
Done.
It'd be like a vacay.
Yeah, we can bring our friends in the back. What do you want?
Fun. Oh, we just had the fucking Maybach 600 SUV.
How is that?
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It has a fridge in the back. It's got the recliners, the bouncy hydraulic suspension.
Oh, that.
Unbelievable.
Really?
Absolutely unbelievable.
That's so
you ever
cool.
driven on like something like that?
No.
It's a high pressure hydraulic system. Then you pull up a menu. It's got your normal settings: comfort, sport, blah blah blah. It has a setting called. It's got comfort, highway, Curves,
Yeah.
which is sport, and then Maybach, which Maybach setting prioritizes the rear comfort over everything else.
Really?
So front at the expense of the front comfort.
That's-
It makes the rear just totally isolated. It's totally isolating, dude. You drive over a speed bump at 45, it's like it's not even there.
Really? And it's all hydraulic,
then look-
like centrally controlled.
Centrally controlled hydraulics. So look, so you can make it bounce.
It has a setting to bounce.
It has a setting to bounce. This is actually called recovery mode, and it's designed to get you out of deep sand or snow. So it bounces.
Look how bossy you look in there.
But it rolls on. But you can also, and if Zach has the other clip, which is I believe the one after it, not that one, the other one, the number 29 probably or 30. No, it's the last one. Sorry, Zach. It's you have a menu you can pull up, and instead of recovery mode, you have an individual EQ of your four wheels height. So look in this video, I'm gonna just slam down one side of the truck and then make it kind of do a little thing and slam the other side of the truck down. Sorry, this video is shitty because we're playing it off Google Drive, so I apologize for the quality. But like, see it just took a lean to the left, and now I'm gonna rock it. I rock the whole truck over to the right using touchscreen sliders on the menu.
That's bananas.
Isn't that the fucking coolest?
Yeah. And so
God help you out of warranty.
Look, so I'm just watching the.
I'm rocking it back and forth to the left by toggling touchscreen sliders up and down.
And so when they're designing the geometry of that suspension, you have to have such a wide range of operation.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's bananas.
And
here we go.
Oh, here's the sliders. Yeah, it's me moving the sliders. Probably should have done a better job cleaning the screen there, but you get the idea.
I can't believe they
It's just
give
like an
people this
EQ.
control.
And you can do it. I didn't do it, but you could do that while rolling.
You can like corner balance your car
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
little. Yeah.
And the other thing that was so great, I mean, there's obviously a bunch of like Luxo shit in there, the
Right.
Spa Air, whatever. The other cool thing is this car has the best use of a mild hybrid system I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Because what it does is the car never moves on the mild hybrid. It starts the engine and moves in the hybrid.
Yeah.
I have never in my life felt, it has no starter motor.
I like that.
It has the mild hybrid instead of a starter motor. So
Right.
the engine just goes
It's just-
from off to on.
It's just on.
It's just on. I've never seen anything like it. Even the second best system, which is the Audi RS6,
Yeah.
this one's better.
Wow.
It's just, when you turn the car on from in the garage, you get it, and it's just instantly on.
It's just running.
There's no crank.
No.
No, not even a half a crank, not even a, it's just on.
Man.
You go, hang on a minute, how did I just do that? It's fucking crazy.
So it has to know what cylinder is on, what cylinder is under compression, the next one, the fire. You know what I mean? Like it has
just
to.
on.
That's awesome.
It's so wild. You know what I mean? It was really the coolest. Looks like we got a bunch of questions.
We do. I'm bolding the ones that are kind of
curating. Okay,
Yeah.
But we have the videos coming out with the Maybach 600. Me and Zach. But like, I thought you'd be into the suspension
That's super
because
cool.
like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's bananas.
And actually, that thing is a shockingly. This is going to sound elitist and terrible. Shockingly good value. Compared to
So you're comparing it to like the
Rolls
Bentley and the
Cullinan
yeah.
or the Bentayga
Yeah.
or the Urus or any other of the super SUVs.
So that's what I was going to ask. Is it in that neighborhood, or is
It's
it?
cheaper.
Oh, really?
This one was loaded up. It
like
was
half.
$175,000.
And does it have the hot V 4-liter in there or whatever?
Yeah, it's 550 horsepower plus the mild hybrid. I mean, it's not like fast, but it's like that's bullshit. It is fast. It runs 12s. It's 6,100 pounds and it goes 12s. It prioritizes comfort over sports car handling.
That's awesome.
And it doesn't look as flash. Having said that, people locked eyes on it, and you see people's mouth. Maybach. You see that? But, like you see that shit.
Oh shit! It's a Maybach.
Yeah. You might not think it carries brand like a Rolls Royce, but
Yeah.
people who know, they really are into it. Yeah,
I think we all know that name from the Jay-Z video, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
It stuck. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, what? And then they cut it up.
Yeah.
I just always wanted to sit in
Well,
the
that was a
backseat
great
of a
video.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, super good video.
Yes.
Ever since that video, I've always wanted to sit in the backseat of a Maybach and go to Vegas. I don't know why. Just like from
You
LA
just,
to
of
Vegas.
course you do,
Yeah.
because that's a logical thing to do.
Yeah, I don't want shoes on. I want to take my shoes off. I
Yeah.
want to feel the carpet.
This is the car for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I once had the privilege. of shuttling a Phantom to Vegas for an event.
Yes.
Shuttling it. And obviously rolled it up.
Yep.
So just like you said, shoes off,
Yep.
Luxo squishy carpets.
Oh, I love it.
Lean back.
Yep. Smoke.
Fucking
roll.
Vegas.
Yep.
And just, sail. Just
Yes.
yachting. Pure yachting.
Yeah, going 100 miles an hour, it feels like you're going 30.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On the best.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
a
make
totally
that happen?
unique
Can we just
experience.
can we do a road trip and
In a Rolls?
yeah, something.
Probably. Yeah, we could probably figure something out. They you know what I love about Rolls? They paint their press cars wild as shit.
Just go
Their
nuts.
press cars are fucking like purple and orange and
purple,
like
pearl,
just craziness. It's so fun. Rolls and Aston, the English are like, no, look, we're fun too.
Yeah.
We're fun.
Instead of like, dark olive green and,
Right.
and black.
Or black.
Yeah,
actually,
we're
that's what
classy.
they're going to sell.
We enjoy it too.
Classy's done.
That's awesome.
Oh man, the people have much to say. Let's see. Sean says, seeing the switchbacks were the first time in my life I was scared into doing the speed limit, referring to Pikes Peak.
Oh, yeah.
What's the plan if someone crashes there? It was terrifying at regular speeds. They shut down and recover, yeah?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the elephant in the room. Every time when you're like, all right, have a safe drive, and you're kind of not really wanting to talk about don't put a wheel off or don't do anything wrong. That's all implied. But if you can get lucky there if you go off in certain areas or you spin, but a lot of times you're not gonna get lucky. You're gonna really tear some stuff up or get hurt. So
People got lucky last year. Their car, the guy with the Preacher 911,
Yep.
right? He flew.
monkey flipped that thing.
He did.
It was like
It was.
Oh, look, we have a model.
Yeah, he went, which is
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is
But Tim has grabbed the Gunther Works model. He's
Sorry,
going to
Peter.
demonstrate.
and it hit like this.
Nose, endo,
Yeah.
front flip,
Yeah,
rear
Over a
hip
pond.
strike.
He
Over a
flipped
pond.
over a
with a
pond.
McTwist.
Yeah, with a and it landed,
Yeah.
yeah. So the road's here. It landed like
Landed
that, yeah.
backwards.
Hundreds of feet off the road. Hundreds.
Wow. Way in there.
We came
So-
down and saw it.
But testament to like the safety, and that's
Yep.
why they're so strict with that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, the inspections are. I applaud that. I'm a big proponent to safety, especially when you're going to go do something like that. But it was impressive. And then you see obviously the Evo. They call it Evo.
A couple
corner
years
now.
ago, yeah.
That they all walked away. I mean, they're banged up,
Yeah,
right?
hire that welder. You know who made that cage?
Yeah.
Somebody knows how to weld.
Yeah, get that dude in there.
And if you have a question about your welding, don't build cages. If
Yeah.
there's any question, go practice on handrails.
I was glad that I was excited for everyone going because I know more people that are in it now.
Yeah.
But I also was like, I really hope that nobody gets hurt. But the more people you meet, I don't
That's
know.
the most.
I got worried.
That's the highest stress. The most stress that you as a spectator or a team manager or whatever that you're going through. All you can think of is safety, because a lot of people know how to make a car quick, right? It's you got to be safe. You got to get to the top. You got to come home. You don't want to make phone calls to people. So
Yeah.
that's something that keeps you up at night quite a bit.
Carl Vogel says, in your experience, what is the hardest part about making carbon parts that have a function, such as load-bearing parts or ones that experience a lot of rotational force like axles?
So, good question. I can answer a couple parts of that. The hardest part, I think, so you do the design. You know what the hardest part is? Coming up with the money to do it. That's the hardest part. Carl, that's the hardest part. The second
Carl seems like he could fund it.
Yeah,
he seems like he's got it.
The second hardest part is what I've learned this time I call it the valley of death, right? So you've got it designed. You did all the CFD modeling. You've got a model that you can start building off of, right? Now, go make tooling. Go find the right carbon. Go find the people to do it. And then, you want to talk about loads and all that. There are formulas that you can use for theoretical loads, but we did theoretical load calculations on all of it and ripped them off the car. So trial and error, build new stuff. I mean, Dimitri and Steve from Aerosim, they were up, I think, for 48 to 72 hours straight while we're trying to rebuild the car at, the front end in Colorado. They're here building a splitter, putting on a Southwest flight, leaving here, getting there, the Denver, and they we went from a 22-pound front splitter to a 48-pound front splitter.
Wow.
Now you can jump on the thing, right?
Yeah.
But the jump test isn't enough, because the vibrations and the torsional, as he's saying, torsional forces. The other part of this question, he says, like axles. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about, I don't know how they make carbon fiber axles and drive shafts.
Torque tubes, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and theoretically in my head it makes sense, but there's got to be a lot of math there, and also what I've learned, there are so many different types of weaves that you use in different places and different densities of mesh, and you got a 12K or 3K, and you lay them sideways, and sometimes they're not. You don't lay them exactly perpendicular to each other. They're they're biaxial, and
wow,
there's a lot there that I don't know, but I'm learning. Like I said, the more I get into this, the more I realize how little I know about all of this stuff. And it's a fun journey. So
that's that knowledge curve, right? It's like when you don't know anything, you're too confident, and then you realize how complex something is, and you go, "Oh, I have no confidence," and then eventually it goes back up.
And then you go, "I have a little bit, enough confidence to know that I don't know everything."
Exactly.
So that's as confident as I am. Yeah. I know that I don't know a lot about this
all you
stuff.
need to know is the person to call.
Right.
If you know the person to call, you're good.
You need a person.
That's it.
Everybody needs a person.
That's
in
it.
every little area.
Yeah.
And we're starting to get there.
Yeah. Chris says has a 991 Turbo S, stage 4. He puts it in quotes, which is good. That's good because stages are stupid, right, Betim?
Yes.
Do you sell stages?
I don't have stages.
Good for you.
But it's great for marketing, though.
I
get it. It's simple. Look, it's simple.
It's great if it really does mean something.
Right.
Like I can appreciate if you were to sell packages where it was dun 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 dun, and it was that exact package and nothing else. I get it. But when people call their own car stages, but it's in quotes, it's okay.
But a lot of the other shops out there do build things as stages, but that's also an arbitrary number to what do you stage off of? Is it how many parts you get? Is it how much power you get? And a lot of times it is parts and power.
Right. It's like a way to bundle parts together.
Yeah. Basically, the question is, what is the sweet spot for modding 991 turbos for track day performance and reliability?
So, good question, Chris. That your stage 4 tile, 68 millimeter. I'm assuming you've probably clipped the hot housing or clipped the turbine wheel also. Intercoolers, exhaust tune. That you're there. That's it. You don't want to go more than that on a track. That you're probably making on a good fuel 750 wheel.
That's
so you want to if you go to the track, turn the boost down, and spend some money on suspension.
Yeah.
But you don't need more power than that. That you are in that sweet spot, because after that, you got to do clutches, you got to do rods, head studs, a supplementary fuel system or methanol. You're in a good spot.
Wasn't it you who told me that with modding street/track cars that if you start having to modify shit that moves as opposed to an intercooler that doesn't move that all it does is make the air colder that's okay but you start spinning things, now you start to get into a realm of it's different amounts of heat and it's different amounts of this, but
everything affects everything so much. So when there's a lot of, if you look at our website, the components, we could go bananas, right? But the components that I have on there work well with each other or work well on their own. You can go a lot more, but for example, an exhaust, a plenum, the intake manifold, the Flower Power printed powder Murder She Wrote intake manifold there, that's something you got to mod a lot of stuff to run that. But
it's a good name. Whoever came up with that, it's fun.
Mitch from M Engineering came up with that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's really funny. The Flower Power print powder Murder She it's a 3D printed
intake manifold
to
run secondary injectors and a larger throttle body. On a direct injection
so that's when
engine.
you run on 1,500 horsepower fucking runway motors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you have to not have air conditioning anymore to run that?
No, so you see all the funky shapes. We made it so it all fits in that envelope.
Okay,
actually,
cool.
go down a little further. Oh, never mind.
That's as far as
$10,000.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
But anyways, that's fun. That's cool.
How much has additive manufacturing changed the game?
It's a double-edged sword, because you see the tech, and then you're like, oh, I can do so much more. It's like opening your eyes to a whole different realm, right? Like the suspension, you can move things now. You're like, it changes the way you think about something and manufacturing and low volume, high precise parts. I believe we might have approached this wrong. We saw the tech, we built stuff, and then we're like, all right, well, who's going to buy it? Well, people luckily are buying this stuff, right? I should have looked at what does everybody want and how do I apply the tech to that, right? Instead, I was just like, oh, let's build cool, crazy, But I think the markets are turning in a point that it's more viable for low production run, even high, like mid-level production run stuff that's still cheaper than building tooling. But the thing that you always get caught up with is the post processing. You can't just make something. There's very few 3D printers out there that could make
a finished product.
Product that doesn't have supports everywhere, right? So there is new algorithms and software that comes out that you can do supportless printing, which that's opening the doors for a lot of other.
Because you had 3D printed those titanium headers and shit. Did those work?
Yeah, it worked great.
They do. Okay.
Yeah, headers, titanium exhaust, like. There's a lot of 3D printed parts on both of our Pikes cars because I can't afford to just go buy tooling for $50,000 for a small little part.
Okay, but it's not necessarily it's changed the game for the small volume manufacturer, but not necessarily because you can build a different shape in an additive manufactured way. It's just because you don't have to have a tool made.
Well, that's two pronged there. Yeah, the shapes are one thing, right?
Yeah,
and
I meant the shapes. You gave me the other half of it.
Yeah, but looking at it from the tooling perspective and the post-processing and a CNC machine and when you're subtractive manufacturing where you're taking the material away for the end part.
Yeah, the waste.
Yep.
Like dimpling the inside of this pipe, could you have done that without 3D printing before?
That's actually not 3D printed. That's cast.
I knew I was going to step on my own dick.
It's all right. I should have been like, yeah, it's 3D printed. No, but you can do all that stuff.
Okay.
That 3D printed intake manifold. We started off with a billet prototype, and you have 4 260-pound chunks, and you pull out a 3.5-pound piece of material. And I'm just like, man, this is insane. You fill 2 55-gallon drums of aluminum chips.
Wow!
It's just you're like, what am I doing here?
You then get money back to recycle
like pennies on it. You know, so that's why it's attractive to me because our stuff is typically low volume. And we have a passion for it. There's enough people out there that do a really good job in printing, so it's working out.
Cool
shit. Let's see. How noticeable, Ray says, is the change in downforce as you go up Pikes Peak? ... because the air gets thinner.
Right. Yeah. Good question. There is a notice. You do notice it. Drivers always say that you can, for some reason during race day, you never have enough rear aero, even though you have a rear aero balance. But it's a culmination of warmer air, less density, things like that. So we always throw a little bit more, either front or rear, at it during race day.
Wow.
But on the way up the hill, there's a lot of other things that kind of overshadow the downforce change because if you have aero balance, you're just going to get less of it. It's almost like you don't know your tires are going away, but your lap times are slowing down.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's just that feeling you get.
Yeah. It doesn't become unstable. It's just proportionally less.
Correct.
But your power is also going down too.
Yes.
So, maybe you don't know because you can't even enter the corner as fast anymore.
And your tires are getting hotter.
Yeah.
The whole thing just slowly becomes less. It's not like...
It's not like the back gets light, but the front doesn't. Yeah, because that's not how it works.
Right.
Eric says, what books or website would you recommend to learn about suspension tuning and adjustments? Any suggestions there?
I don't know. I don't know what books or websites, but they're actually there is a lot of information out there. If you just
what was
Sam recommended this book for me that was called Tune to Win.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I think
the art and science of race car development.
Is that Claude Rydell has a?
Sure.
Yeah, he's got a good book. So
it's ranked number 7 of 14 in the vehicles dynamics and handling category. Can you see the rest of that category?
Wait, where'd you see that?
Right there. You're on it. It's ranked 7 of 14. Oh no, that's just a.
It's not a link, but I can find one.
Whatever.
But honestly, Google. I mean, I haven't really read.
What was that enormous book that Thaddeus found? that was like from the 60s.
Oh, here's Carroll Smith, engineer to win. Yeah, drive, like he did a series of them.
Engineer to win, drive to win, and tune to win.
Race car vehicle dynamics.
That's
is also,
it. Race car vehicle dynamics.
That's the one.
That's exactly the one. It is a chonker.
It's a lot, but it gives you basic principles of chassis dynamics. So, for example, he's got the KWs on his BMW. You know, if you're understeering on corner exit, you know, give a little more rear compression and add a little more front rebound. You know, those are the things that it'll give you all of those little scenarios, which is pretty neat.
This I can already tell is going to be a really hard question because he's asking something very specific. But I'm going to try and change the wording of this one, Treviso. What is the most important thing that a professional like yourself knows about setting up a car that the average car enthusiast might not know but would find helpful?
Stiffer isn't better.
For sure.
So I mean, that's
100% all day.
Compliant. I mean, our spring rates on the Pikes Peak cars are street car soft. You know, I mean, compliance, confidence. You build the suspension and the chassis up to not get all out speed for your clients, but you want them to be comfortable because they will ultimately be faster. You know, that you just have compliant, nice, soft chassis, but still provides support for like platform support. You can get that with sway bars, soft springs, big bars type of thing.
And you're running sequentials in those cars?
Yeah, one of them.
And one of the other one is just PDK?
Yeah.
Is the sequential that much better at that application?
Yeah, and it's a lot lighter too.
Oh, that's why it's lighter.
Yeah.
Right. Because PDK is fucking fast. I mean, it's hard to believe that
PDK is quick, but it's still when you drive a sequential car to a PDK, it's still a slush box. It feels like
a little bit, yeah.
I've
driven your old car.
That was too much. So there's another car, Joe, one of our clients, we built. It actually originally started as a car that I was building for myself, but it has a paddle shifted sequential and a .2 GT3 and 997, and has one of our wild 4 liters in it. Spins to 8,500 or 9,000. You got to drive that car. It'll change your mind about sequentials on the street.
Okay.
Sadev builds the gearbox. I mean, it doesn't have that whine. You're not breaking your hand. You don't have to give the gas. We programmed all the auto blip. It has launch control.
I drove one that had auto blip on that crazy fucking Viper I drove for them guys in Texas.
Right, okay.
The 2,000 horsepower
that's
Viper.
A hard car to drive, though.
It was.
Was it paddle or was it?
No, it was a lever.
Okay.
It was a challenge, but for 2,000 horsepower, it was all right.
That's pretty cool.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It got the job done. Caleb says, a friend of mine bought a 997 Carrera 4 with a stick. What are some must-do maintenance items for the now 16-year-old Porsche?
Caleb, whoever's been maintaining it, look at the intermediate shaft. L&N makes an upgraded intermediate shaft. It's like an insurance policy for your engine. That's the first and foremost on that car. Right. And then everything else it's a great car.
The rest of these are just kind of general. We could save them for a cruise show if you want.
Okay.
Do you want to,
that's general stuff. We can save. Dude, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You have murdered on the mountain.
We'll be back.
You guys think? What were the standings you got? I don't think we went through it.
The Raphael and the open car, we got first in class. David Donahue and the TA1 car got third in class. The Bentley got us in second, and Champion Motorsport got first. You want me to make excuses, or we got third place, and then Tanner got first place in class.
Okay,
3 podiums is excellent.
Yeah, I think. There's a historian emailed us from Pikes Peak. She said that we might have been the first privateer team to ever enter 3 cars in 3 different classes and come away with podiums.
I mean, that's a pretty impressive feat.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
And you came in behind Bentley, but like it's Bentley owned by Volkswagen Group. Like they have a lot of money.
And they got Reese Millen driving.
They got Reese Millen. I mean, so
funny story, real quick about Reese. Tanner was up there. He was scouting, or they were doing something for filming, and I was calling him to check in. Reese picks the phone up before Tanner can answer and goes, "Hello, second place. How are you?" What? And just messed with me the entire time. He'd send me videos. He goes, "Oh, by the way, this is low boost." He was getting in my head so hard. But then, rightfully so, that car was so outside of the realm of like, I was just hoping they'd put a wheel wrong or like, and unfortunately they did break. They were on pace to set. They were on pace to just rip. I mean, if you watch his in-car, it's heartbreaking. He was so fast in the first 2 sections. He broke like 7 or 8 corners in and had no boost and still beat us.
Wow.
Yeah, he broke his like carbon intake manifold like blew apart. Yeah.
That's a question.
But Champion beat them.
Yeah.
So
Champion
maybe
had
we need to watch them.
Champion had a dry run all the way up.
Oh, right.
David had the first 2 sections were wet, and then he had a dry run up top. So David actually put almost a full second on Champion in the 3rd section, which Champion put like 9 or 8 seconds on our open car, which we had 1.6 seconds quicker on the lower on that car because the open car had the dry bottom with the. So it's
like Nürburgring laps. It's like, oh well, it was raining on the south half of the track.
But that's just what you have to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I can make excuses, but you know what? I'm so happy with what we've got.
No, I wasn't trying to find an excuse. I was just saying that, like, because you talked about how after seeing the Bentley, you need to redo your strategy and whatever. And I was just because we hadn't talked about the fact that the only other car that was ahead of you was actually a 911 GT2 RS Club Sport. It was
it was a nicely modified. Club Sport with Romain Dumas behind the wheel.
Right. So he had a very good driver, but you don't need to look to technical advantages that team had. They had a great driver and a weather advantage, but
no, they did a good job too though. They threw a lot of time and money out of that program with aerodynamics. They had, I mean, it was funny. We had 3 people working on one of the cars up in the midsection, and they had 17. They came to party, and that's what I'm saying. I have to rethink like the competition that's coming. I can no longer show up this way. Even though I think we did well, I just have to rethink.
Do you think that the competition has become this because it's paved now and people no longer have to build dirt rally cars and can just build a traditional, semi-traditional race car?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it poses new challenges with closing speeds into brake zones and mid-corner speeds. There are new challenges to it, but it will never be that ominous dirt deal,
Yeah.
But it's still incredible.
I think we got to go next year, Zach.
Dude,
it's 100
we
years.
should go. It's amazing.
You guys have to go.
It's really amazing. It feels bigger and smaller.
We have to book it now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about our French chef. Well, I mean, I can cook. That's the thing.
You can.
I can't do a fucking thing on a car, but I can make food. I'm good at that.
Every Friday night, the people, Kelly and Ray, the house that we use, they come in and cook for us.
Nice.
And it's awesome. I mean, they do a good job, and it gives Henry like a break, because he's up in the morning. There's coffee ready at 2 a.m. And he's such a rad guy. He's actually coming out to visit here in the next couple of days. But he's, it kind of just ties the whole thing together.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
It was awesome.
So fun.
Yeah,
cool. Spend money at Betim's place,
please.
BBI Autosport, Huntington Beach. You don't have to bring your car to him. You can just buy parts if you want. If you want to send your car to him, fucking flip a few pages of your calendar.
And we have had some
shirts. It's going to be a while.
Too.
And buy some swag. Some of the swag that we're going to get for free, right, Zach?
That's correct.
Yep.
And there it is.
That's one more thing. Can I just drop something real quick?
Yeah. The 4th of July sale, 15% off.
The coolest thing that we linked up with the Little Warriors Foundation. It's to raise awareness about pediatric sarcoma.
Oh.
It's a bone and joint cancer that I'm learning a lot about. It's the girl who. Her name's Lucy. So a guy from Optima has a cousin named Lucy and said, "Hey, Lucy, your car's named Lucy. Can we do something?" And we fell in love. It was awesome. So her and her whole family came out on behalf of the foundation, and we had a blast with them. They were there the whole weekend. It was really, really cool. So
nice.
I fell in love. I will never do another event in the public's eye without tying it to some sort of charity because We do.
Why not?
We don't need the race, but we need to raise some sort of awareness for something, and there's so many out there. But I thought it was very educational. It was awesome.
All right, so that's at drive.littlewarrior.org is the site, and that's also can we see it also through your BBIAutosport.com? There's
Correct.
probably
it's right on the homepage there.
Right on the homepage?
Right on the homepage.
Perfect.
There it is.
Perfect. Every donation gets an entry for a ride along with Tanner Faust on the track. And
I might even throw a ride along with Lucy or in one of the GT cars
you have
somewhere.
a 2-car hauler. I mean, you might as well.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, we got to bring two
You
cars.
might as well, right? Cool, man. Thanks for coming to see us. We
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thanks for
I'm
having
glad
me.
you did so well this year. That's fucking so sick.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
should be
guys.
stoked.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I know you're looking to next year, but you should be stoked.
Yeah, we are stoked. That was great.
And remember, like a year ago, and I was like, "Hey, can I borrow that Pikes Peak car because I need like filler for
Yes,
my place?"
I
And
do
now I'm
remember.
like, "Actually, I don't even have room if you paid me."
You're right. Exactly.
So that's good.
That is
good.
I'm so like when I walked in here, I was so happy to see the full house, and it's so impressive. And
It's full.
I remember you telling.
Full is good.
Do you remember when you asked me a question when you were in the old building over there? You said, "What's it like to have employees and this and that and all the business?" We talked about it, and here you are. Nice
With
smooth,
employees.
nice well-oiled machine. You got a full house. You're happy. I love it.
Floors are clean. Place
stoked.
hasn't burned down yet.
Stoked for you.
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
We all right.
Awesome.
That's our show, folks. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Zach is back in the hood, so we're gonna have. Are we doing? We have Magnus in studio on Tuesday, talking about season 2 of. On Monday. Magnus on Monday, talking about next big thing on Haggerty
Season
Network, and then we're also gonna have a crew show next week. It might be Tuesday, I think.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yes. This is important. But anyway, have a very good weekend, and we'll see you all later. Thank you for spending time with us this afternoon. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See ya.
Yeah.